Welcome to An Aries and Pisces Walk Into a Coffee Shop, the podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Bridget, she, her.
And I'm Tiffany, she, her. This is a podcast where two friends let go of perfectionism and talk unedited.
Hi.
Hello.
I like the idea of taking my time. Also, to find the record button and to find the end button. Because last time we talked, we did not record, but I was panicking that instead of hitting end the call, I was going to hit record. But also nothing is going to happen if I hit the button. Like nothing.
I was going to bring that up. I'm glad that you got there
It's
first.
not going to matter. It's not there's nothing but something in me is like panic when I need to hit the red button, and which red button is it? So what if I just take a moment and choose slowly?
Does that feel like is it betraying the false sense of urgency that we've been devoted to?
Yes, and I think that it's also that maybe like if I choose the wrong button, then I'm like, I'm a fraud. I don't know what I'm doing, right? Like I'm not experienced enough, or I'm gonna do it wrong. I'm gonna not do it right.
Perfectionism, we're not allowed to make any mistakes ever, even if the consequences are minor.
Yes.
Yeah, relatable.
Yeah.
I also feel this. Working on it.
We're doing a good job. Right off the bat.
Just starting out.
Right off the bat.
We made it. We're here.
Yes. Yeah.
You hit record and not end.
Yeah, we made it. Yeah, today I feel very much in the vibe of I just can't be fucked. Like I just can't. This week has been a week. It has been rough. And also I want to thank what we do in the shadows. What's his fucking name? Laszlo? Is that
is a name, but I don't know what you're about to reference. So I'm
it's not Andor. It's Laszlo. It's Laszlo. Yeah. That phrase, like I can't be fucked, that comes from him. He said that at one point, and I was just like, it's a household favorite now. We're like, that is absolutely brilliant. Say it all the time, and I love to channel his energy.
Yes. So. You're right. I do need to rewatch that. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Have you watched the most recent season?
I'm a little behind. I don't know what time is.
Yeah.
And I keep on thinking, it feels like I was watching that 2 seconds ago, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's not true.
When we talked about like media stuff, whenever we were talking about the movie What We Do in the Shadows, and like when we fell in love with Taika, and like thinking back to when that movie came out, yeah, I could have told you like, oh yeah, that movie like did not come out that long ago. However, that movie came out a long time ago, and now the show has multiple seasons.
Yes, I also forget that. No, if it's just because it lives so closely with me. Like, I think about quotes from that all the time. I think about scenes from that all the time. Maybe that's why it feels so immediate. It's well, like a vampire, it feels both timeless. Like it's always been there, however, so new.
I am just laughing because I know a million years ago, Sam got me, for some reason, I can't remember why or when or whatever, a little Jermaine cat, like, in the movie from when he gets the faces wrong. and
I
he's a
do
cat
know.
with his face, and it's a little
Uh-huh.
like embroidered like patch you could put on like a jacket or something. And I don't like use things like that to like put on things. So I was like, what can I do with this? Like, where can I put it? How can I keep it? How else can I use it? Because it's the best thing ever.
Yes.
And so I've stuck it in. It lives in our TV entertainment cabinet thing that's underneath
Oh
of
my
our
God, that's
TV,
amazing.
and it has the like glass fronts on the
Yeah.
doors, and it's on like the bottom shelf. It's just like leaned up against like a little bin that has like controllers and stuff in it, and so you can see it through the glass if you're sitting on the couch like all the time. You just see little Jermaine cat, and I guess like Chloe loves it. I haven't seen her. She doesn't she doesn't do this a lot, and she hasn't done it that many times
Uh-huh.
when like I've been around. But like if like Luke at night is playing games or something, he leaves the
Yeah.
cabinet doors open a bit so that the consoles have like
Right.
airflow. And she'll go and like the door will be open like this much, but she'll weasel her little arm like in and
Oh,
around and do the little like grabby thing to get it out, and then she'll like
yeah.
toss it up and like bat it around, and it's hilarious.
This is so funny. It's so cute.
It's just it's the
So
absolute best.
meta.
It's the absolute best. So we got to keep Jermaine Cat kind of handy, you know, and around. So that brings me much joy.
Oh, I love knowing that. That makes me so happy. Yeah, every time I see a picture of that scene or any kind of art based on that, I just cackle. It's just so stupid and so funny and so brilliant. I love it so much.
It is so dumb. It's so dumb and so brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I'm at today. Just can't be fucked.
I love that phrase.
Yeah, but it's almost it's not anger that I'm feeling. It's just like I'm just like ugh, like I don't want to do anything. I just fucking can't be
Yeah.
bothered. But you know what? The sun came out today for the
Oh,
first
good.
time in who the fuck knows how long. And that feels really special. And there was a weird chunk of rainbow in the sky, which I took a picture. I meant to send it to you. I did not send it to you. I'll send it to you later. Because I thought, how gracious was that of you to text me the other day a photo of like sunspot rainbows, and you're like, the sun's out today. I was like, fucking, I needed that so bad. So then I'll send it to you.
Yes, please. You said it was just in the middle of the sky?
It was just like a little chunk of rainbow
so
like this, like
incredible.
up and down.
Oh, speaking of familiars, hello.
Hi, Ingrid.
You want to come up here? I haven't really seen that very much, except one.
Can the background of your color background, when you picked Ingrid up, it's like changing colors. You're like changing
Really?
colors.
Ingrid, was that you?
Ingrid, hi.
Any magic?
Yeah.
Magic cat? Oh, there's a cyclist. You better go check it out. Did you see the attention? I wonder, does Riverside color correct? It's just picking up different.
I don't know. I was thinking that it was her aura joining the gang.
Oh, Ingrid, is that true? Yeah.
And she had to, I don't know, she wanted to be a big presence. I'm sorry, I cut you off, but I couldn't stop myself.
No, it's okay. We could talk about Ingrid for the rest of the time if you want. She's very happy and purring. She wanted to be here.
I had to elongate my window. I had it really skinny, but I could see her face now. She's just a perfect angel.
She has a very happy wagging tail because she's looking out the window right now. It's her favorite pastime. She's been a pretty naughty familiar the last couple of days. She's been waking up before the sun and coming out into the living room and leaving me in the bed alone, which is rude. And then, excuse you, because she's getting up so early, she's then been awake for hours on end by the time I'm awake. So our routine's all off. So by the time I'm awake, she thinks it's been 3 or 4 hours past feeding time. So she's just causing a ruckus. I found her in a plant, in it. She's knocking over things. She stole a stone and was like batting it around maniacally, like just incorrigible. She went to my bookshelf and started pulling books out of the shelf, like one after the other. It's been a time.
Oh my
We're
God.
just,
Oh, Tiffany, I saw like a cat meme. Maybe Luke sent it to me. I'll send it to you. But I didn't send it. This is funny. I didn't send it to you because I was like, oh, I never hear about like your cat doing that. And I was like, our cats don't do it either. So I was like, yeah, it's funny just because like the things you hear about cats. But now I'm like, oh, that was Ingrid.
yeah, this isn't typical behavior. It's not like she's never done things like this, but it's like very few and far between. And normally it doesn't have the same like frenetic energy. Like she's pulled books out of the shelf once before, but kind of like a, ooh, is there a portal back here? Like, I didn't know there was so much space. And then she like laid down in it. But this time it was like, she like looked me in my eyes and was like, you see this? I'm just like, okay, like pointed. So yeah, she typically isn't this naughty. It's out of character.
That's what we call when Chloe goes on a rampage.
Oh,
She's rampaging.
yes, that is what she's doing. And she normally doesn't rampage. Like sometimes she'll have like, well, like the haunted friskies a bit.
Haunted?
Yeah, because she'll like look into like dead space and
the
climb
face
walls.
that you made was 100% on. That was it. That is exactly the energy.
I forgot we were recording.
You got that. You got that.
So yes, haunted. She doesn't have normal friskies. It's always haunted friskies because when she gets in those moods, like she's screaming at the walls and climbing and looking into nowhere. Well, she is probably looking into somewhere like into another dimension. She's like that. But yeah, she doesn't normally have rampages, but lately it's been a rampagey kind of morning for the past few mornings. And now I'm wondering if maybe it's a little my fault because I've been having a really hard time sleeping because of that cough I've been getting over. Now I'm wondering if I'm disrupting her sleep. So then maybe she's leaving.
She's like, bitch, I've had enough of you. I've had enough of this
I feel like now I
nonsense.
need to apologize. I am so sorry. I disrupted your routine and I'm blaming you for disrupting our routine.
Whoops.
Oh, goodness. Having a body is a lot of work.
Yeah. We got a new blanket to go across our bed because our comforter is, well, it's a duvet. I don't know if this makes a difference, but the fluffy stuff inside of it is all like clumped. And so it's not now like spread out. And so it's not very warm anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's been a whole thing. So anyway, we were just like, we're just going to get a soft, comfy blanket to put on top so that we can still stay warm. And do you remember my issue with Zero sleeping on my feet and being a little cinder block? And then we had to figure out how to, we put a bed for him on our bed. So Lovey has his bed on our bed. And then we got the warming like mat, which has been his bed. And that is black. Our duvet is a light gray. And the blanket that we got is a very dark gray. So at night, it basically all blends in, like his bed and the big blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And now he is like, oh, you just gave me an entire gigantic bed. And he like started like sleeping on my feet again, and then started the thing where like he'll dig in the blanket, and if you move just the wrong way, he's attacking you.
I remember that when
Oh
I
my
used to spend the
God.
night at yours.
Oh my God.
And I just wanted him to cuddle me so bad, and he would, until then he maimed my feet.
Yeah. So I had to tuck the blanket up under so it's not on the bottom of my side of the bed, so he doesn't lay there anymore. And I love him. He's sweet. And it's sweet that he wants to snug, but like, please just snug elsewhere. I have been getting him to like snug like up on my like torso. That's always good. And he usually
that's
moves.
nice.
And I have seen him. It's hard to see now where he is on the bed if I wake up in the middle of the night because the whole thing just looks black.
Yes.
And I'm like, where's Cat? I don't know. But I have noticed him sleeping on his bed again, even with the big blanket. So I think that I'm just gonna have to sacrifice my feet under the blanket. But I usually sleep kind of like fetal position anyway, so I'm kind of like shorter because my like knees are bent.
Yeah, I'm a every position sleeper. I cycle through all kinds. I have like some favorites for like particular things, but yeah, I'm all over the place. And poor Ingrid, especially in winter, loves sleeping on top of me. And it's just like me barrel rolling and her just like melting into whatever like new position I end up in all night long.
Yeah. And Luke doesn't understand because Levy doesn't snug him. Or he said, like, because he's like, well, if he's in your way, why don't you just like push him a little and like move him? And I'm like, he's just a little cinder block. He doesn't move. So like if he's on like this side of me and I go to bed like we're like spooning, he's my little spoon. But then yes, I roll over a lot too. And then I go to roll over the other way, but I'm already all the way on the side of the bed. So like if I do that and then I'm like, don't have any covers, and then he's like keeps, and I was like, I don't know, he's just a cinder block. And I'm like, Luke, nothing wakes you up. I think he maybe if Zero's over there like and he moves, he just like moves, but he just doesn't do that with me. Like, I don't know.
Well, does Luke not know about the properties of cats where they can change their weight at will?
What he does know is that whenever he's sitting on the couch and Zero comes up to snug on his lap, which is what he does on the couch, Zero does not snug me on the couch. He snugs Luke on his lap. And he will 100% of the time step on his balls. And he puts, like all of his weight is in those two little paws or four, like, and, like the pounds per square inch. So that he knows that.
But unfortunate, yeah.
But it doesn't affect him in bed.
That's so strange how cats have their little routines. Speaking of, Ingrid's I have my legs crossed in front of me and she's trying to figure out how to lay on them because normally I have them where she lays in the little crevasse of my legs, but now it's crossed. So she just she just stomped like 4 times on my shin and was just like,
what is this?
Trying to figure out how to
what is this nonsense?
Here, I move for you if you want to come over. Yes, I don't know how people that live alone without a pet live, because between nursing a cold and, let's just be frank, mental health stuff, I've not left this house all week Well, I did yesterday to go grocery shopping, so
You
gold
did it. Good
star.
job.
But before that, I hadn't left. And I was starting to feel a little crazy, which is weird because I like alone time. But then I was thinking, oh, well, I like alone time with my cat. And then I started thinking about people that don't have that. And I don't know how they have nervous systems and live alone.
I think that we've talked about this before because I specifically think about like my apartment and when I lived alone for 2 years.
We did talk about that, yeah.
And I was like, well, I was very unwell.
I was about to, you didn't have a good time, did you? Just like the
I was
answer, isn't it?
I was very unwell. But also at that point in my life, I had never had a pet before.
Right.
So I did not know any other ways of being.
Yeah, I was very fortunate in that way, I guess, because I had pets my whole life. I don't remember a time when there wasn't a pet. There was a time because our first family cat was adopted when I was 2, but that's pre-memory formation. So yeah, I always had cats around. And I mean, there was a brief time where I didn't when my cat passed, but I still had animals around because that's when I had the ferret. And then I lived with Christy for a period of time and had the Oscar, the dachshund. So still
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. I just was thinking about when it was winter and he would just go and pee off the side of the porch because the snow was too deep.
Yeah, or when he would walk in the snow and it was like a little plow had just like parted the ice. It was like, no wonder you hate going into the snow because it's just your body deep in. He was doing his own version of a cold plunge. Hated it.
My God. Speaking of a fucking cold plunge, listen to this, Tiffany. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. What is it? What is it? Is it the rebel? Is it my inner rebel? Or is it like what some archetype has been loud lately, but it's more like I'll show you, like fuck everyone, like I'm gonna ugh. So then I try to do the cold plunge in the shower and I did it one time kind of successfully, but I think that it was before it was like cold outside. And then I've tried to do it again like since. And I'm just like, this fucking sucks. I would try the fucking cold plunge if it was like I'm getting into a big like tub full of it. I'm not
This is what I was
in
gonna
the
say.
goddamn fucking shower doing it. It's
I feel like you're
so
doing it
miserable.
on hard mode.
Yeah, and I don't want to do it on hard mode.
I'll have to send you the video. I just watched a human talk about
A human?
Yeah. Was that weird?
It's not weird, especially like in my email footers, I have like a little note that says like if another human like passed this on to you or whatever, or like if you received this from another human and like you want to subscribe here, you know, like you can do that here. But yeah, I use the words like a human, if you're a human or if another human's like I think it's even funnier too because I'm playing that visual novel and humans are only one of the many like races that are the characters.
You're right. I'm gonna have to change my language to be more inclusive when the aliens come and or the Fae come back to this realm to be like, we're here. You forgot, but present.
So you were listening to a human?
Oh no, I was watching a human. Well, I was listening to the human too, but I was watching where they were explaining their routine of really hot water and then the ice bath and going back and forth a bunch of times and then ending in the hot.
Was it that guy in the forest?
Yeah, that he made them out of the trees and stuff. Yeah.
I
Did you see
watched
it?
it. I didn't listen to it. I
Ugh,
watched it.
listen to it. It's funny.
Okay.
Because that poor person gets so much just
Yeah.
pushback in their
Yeah.
comments, which is
Yeah.
so bizarre to me, the things that
Yeah.
people are saying to them about like sustainability or like being a tree murderer. Like it's just like really as
Yeah.
if they're not typing at their computer in their home and like driving their car later. I don't know. It's just so bizarre to me
Yeah, it
how people
is.
on the internet get like all this projected stress
Just
that
from
other
seeing
people.
like one thing, you see like one little tiny snippet. And if you are a
Yeah.
person that like follows him and has seen the whole journey from like where he sourced that tree and like how he's been
Yeah.
building this and how like, you know, intentional they have,
But
like,
like
what,
also,
what?
where do you think the wood from your house came from? Like I do not believe for a second that someone on the internet typing that is in a like eco house. Like
No, and they're
no.
not fucking thinking about it, right? Yeah, it's all projection. It's all their own. This is all anything fucking is. It's people's perceptions
Mm,
of shit, and it's the stuff that the people themselves don't want to look at or work on within themselves in their own life, or don't even
mm-hmm.
have the wherewithal to even know or understand that that's what's going on.
Yes. I've been thinking about
Here
this
I
so
go.
much.
And to be fair, I was also that person,
Well, we all humans
right?
are. However, I'm still rageful right now about
Yeah.
being affected by it
Yeah.
because I also have had a hard time and I've worked very hard not to do that to other people. And
Mm-hmm.
it happens sometimes, sure. But I've been uncovering layers of my life in which I was like, oh, I've had so many relationships with people over the course of my life, from family of origin to present, where I'm like, oh, projection,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my hard lesson in boundary setting.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm revisiting over and over and over again. And I'm starting to come to that can't be fucked
Mm-hmm.
feeling, which is nice. It's a nice change of pace because before it was, how can I make this not happen?
Mm.
And how can I be different to make this, or how can I communicate even better and more perfect to make this not happen? And now I'm finally starting to feel in my body the not my circus, not my
Yeah.
monkeys feeling that I logically have been trying to embody, but I've had a hard time with.
Yeah, I love that. I love this. I love that motion that you that's
I actually the hand brushing of like, no, this isn't mine. I do a lot, like as a
Mm.
physical, intentionally a physical thing of being like, oh, you're spiraling. That's not yours. Like, that has to get out of here. You got to put that down. You got to brush your hands off. Like, it's just not something you need to keep picking up. And I don't know if I messaged you. I don't think I did. I meant to. About one of the episodes, recent episodes of We Can Do Hard Things. And the person's name is escaping me, but they had someone on with a 2-part episode. The first part was about emotionally immature parents. And then the second episode was like disentangling yourself from the dynamics of being in relationship with an emotionally immature person. And it was parent centered because I think that's what the woman wrote about in her book specifically. But in the second part of the episode, they kind of opened it up to like, these are all kinds of people that you can be in relationship, from your CEO boss
Mhm.
all the way to, you know, your cousin or whatever. And I had that like feeling of, I had previously where You know, when you deal with something and it makes you feel nuts, it's very confusing. And then someone, a stranger, outlines what's happening to you, and it's just so resonant. And it's like, oh, this is eerie that like a stranger is pointing out exactly what I went through in my own personal life. Has that ever happened to you?
I can't. I mean, I'm sure that it has. I can't think of an example.
For me, it happened most notably when I was like, oh, narcissism and like
Mm.
abuse and how that shows up. And then it's happened to me like glimmers of it sometimes when people would like talk about certain like toxic dynamics. But this episode, like, they didn't tell me something I didn't know, but it felt very validating, and also like it was pulling apart things that I still have been kind of gnawing on from years of just being like, make this make sense. Like,
Mm.
I just need this to make sense. I can't hold all of these paradoxes in one. Something's got to give to like
Mhm.
put this together in a way that I can digest. And this episode, I think, kind of got me a little closer to that, where I think it, because it made it less personal, it made it feel less, well, what I just talked about. Like, it wasn't mine to hold on to and fix. It's
Mhm.
just a dynamic, which, I mean, obviously I have a part in because boundaries are important. But I think I had a hard time setting boundaries because the incongruence made me stick around, because I thought, oh, if I could just communicate this, or if I could just see past or be more compassionate, or blah, 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 you know, all the excuses and
Mhm.
ways that I try to contort. Um, but I think what like really kind of busted it open for me in a way was the person being interviewed who wrote the book said something about how an emotionally immature person can also be a person that doesn't seem that way all the time. Thus, like, they use the CEO boss as an example, where it's like this woman could be self-sufficient and good at her job and really great to work with, but under stress or in interpersonal intimate
Mm.
relationships could still be emotionally immature and act in these ways that seem incongruent with this other part of themselves, which is
Mhm.
so established and seemingly mature. And how like that's true across the board, that like people can be likable and a good friend and then still have like these patterns
Mhm.
of behavior related to emotional immaturity. And
Mhm.
it's just really been making my brain spin out on so many scenarios of my life.
Mm. Yeah, I am gonna start listening to that as soon as we're done here.
The first part of the episode, I think, is definitely worth listening to, but it was the second part,
Huh.
the part two, that really was like, whew, like blew open a lot of things for me, where I was just like, wow, this is validating. And it was practical, which, you know, my Virgo moon loves something practical. And
Mhm.
one of the phrases in that is something that I've been talking about and thinking about a lot, where it is not changing the relationship to the person that is emotionally immature, but changing your relationship to the relationship to that person.
Wait, say that again.
So instead of going in and thinking, I'm going to change the relationship to this person,
Mhm.
it's changing your relationship with that relationship instead of the person. So Abby's example was, she's not going to go in and change her mom. Her
Mhm.
mom is her mom.
Mm.
And she's not going to go in and be able to change the relationship she has with her mom, because her mom is who she is.
Mhm.
And that's just what it, like, she's not going to get someone different. no matter what she does.
Mm-hmm.
But she can go in and change the way she feels about her relationship to her mom so that they can have some kind of connection. Feel like I'm not doing a good job of explaining it.
I'm almost there. I'm like on the edge of it.
I think the episode does a really good job. Because as soon as Abby said it, I was just like, yes, of course. That's perfect. It was a very succinct way of wording something that I've been thinking about a lot. Because we've talked about getting closure before. And I think it was very related to that idea of like, you don't get closure from someone else, you get it from you. And it feels like this is really related to that, where it's just like, you're not going to get the kind of relationship you want from someone else if they just aren't capable or willing. And so what you can do is, what can you do within you to change how you're relating
to that relationship? Yeah.
So when you listen to it, I can't wait to unpack, because I just feel lit up. It's like, cannot stop thinking about it.
Yeah, I already feel like I know where it's gonna go for me. I bet you could guess too, but yeah. I'm interested. Yeah. Yeah. Feels like this would then also pair well with grief work. Because then too, right, you have to do a lot of grieving of relationships that you want to be a certain way. That you have to accept that they just can't or won't be.
They talk about that too. I think you're really going to like this episode. It felt so supportive to me and just validating. Like I said, they didn't say anything like revolutionary to me. It's all things I've been thinking about and talking about with people and journaling about. Oh my God, so much journaling, so much feeling. But it was just so lovely to hear all these different people talking about the same thing. The universality of being a human, just why does it have to be like this? And thank goodness it's not just me.
Yeah. It is. It's really wild to me, I guess, like, would you just call it like the human condition that plagues us all? It's like we're all humans, right? We all have the same feelings and things and whatever ways our brains and our bodies are wired to work in. We're all just trying to like live our lives, but like we end up just doing such terrible things to each other because we're not thinking about that fact that we are all just the same and it is all just happening to everybody. And that's wild to me.
Agreed. I always cringe about like certain adages or like phrases but they're there because they're true, but the hurt people. Ugh. I hate that. And also, yep. The human condition that plagues us all.
Is that the title of this episode?
I think it is.
The human condition that plagues us all. Well, before we go, can I show you what I've been using as a back pillow?
Of course.
It's Felton. Oh,
sweet squish.
And it's every time I like lean back in my chair or like adjust myself, I just like squish up against her, and it makes me smile inside because I'm like, this is what I'm sitting with. This is a squishy cat.
Oh,
And
good self-care.
yeah. Yeah. This is one of those things that is reminding me as I have been going through a hard time, and it feels like joys and silly things are harder to, I don't know, notice or interact with. But
Yeah.
then I'm like, I am a 35-year-old adult, and I cuddle with my squishmallow as my back support while
Mm-hmm.
I'm working. And that feels silly, and I like it.
I like it too.
And I
It's a
have
beautiful
my
frame.
little cat children's tangle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to order a new one since this one's kaput.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Yep. Because you're a grown-ass adult.
Because I'm a grown-ass adult and I get to make my own decisions about what I want in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if I want children's toys that bring me joy, let's do it.
Yes. I like that for you.
Thank you.